Steve Austin wasn't just flipping birds and cracking beers. Behind the scenes, he was flipping people off in real life, and not everyone got up after the stunner. The truth is, Stone Cold's biggest feuds didn't end with a bell. They ended in resentment, lawsuits, radio silence, and straight-up character assassination. The guy wasn't difficult. He was surgical. If you crossed him, you didn't just lose a match. You lost your spot, your push, and sometimes your entire career. These aren't cute little misunderstandings. These are the 5 names that made Austin want to punch drywall, and a few who almost made him retire early just to avoid their faces. Let's pull back the curtain on 5 people Steve Austin truly hated, and not the "we worked stiff" kind of hate. We're talking "I never want to see this guy's face again" hate. Cold, brutal, and unforgettable. Ready? Don't say I didn't warn you. Jeff Jarrett once thought he could out-talk Steve Austin. Bad idea. Real bad. Like, try to roast a guy who just sold out arenas? Bad. During the early rise of Austin 3:16, Jarrett cut a promo mocking the catchphrase, saying blasphemy doesn't sell. The problem? That catchphrase was selling millions in merch. Jarrett's mic work was about as effective as a slap from a wet napkin. What Jarrett didn't expect was that Austin held grudges like death row inmates hold shivs. He never forgot it. Never worked with Jeff again. Ever. Vince pitched matches, angles, maybe even a strap run. Austin said, "No thanks, I'd rather be unemployed." This wasn't locker room heat. This was blacklist heat. The real cherry on top? Jerry Jarrett, Jeff's dad, reportedly made a smug comment to Austin in Memphis about how guys like you will never draw. That sealed the deal. Austin remembered that moment like it was tattooed on his boot. When he hit the big time, he made sure the door stayed bolted shut behind him. Jarrett never got a feud, a rub, or even a stare down. Stone Cold's mindset? You want to mock my rise? Then you can sit in catering watching it on a monitor? This wasn't just dislike, it was a career execution. Quiet, personal, final. Ahmed Johnson didn't just burn bridges, he napalmed them mid-interview. Years after their brief overlap in WWE, Johnson dropped a pipe bomb so radioactive it could have fried catering. He accused Steve Austin of being a backstage racist, claiming someone had scratched the N-word into his rental car, and all fingers pointed at the Rattlesnake. Johnson didn't drop a bomb, he tried to nuke Austin's legacy. Years after their overlap, Johnson lobbed one of the ugliest accusations in wrestling history, that someone had carved a racial slur into his rental car, and that someone, he hinted, was Stone Cold. Now let's be blunt, this wasn't a shoot, this was a blindfolded dart throw in a crowded room. No evidence, no names, just a heavy claim tossed into the air like it wouldn't land on someone's head. And Austin? He didn't just deny it, he detonated it. On his podcast, the voice that once sold out arenas flipped to low and lethal, completely fabricated, complete horse shit. No PR polish, no lawyer statements, just raw fury. If it had been anyone else, maybe this would have spiraled. But Austin had no history of this, and the locker room didn't back Johnson. Not one name, not one nod, not even a side glance. It was like shouting in an empty arena, and even the echoes didn't believe him. This wasn't a rivalry, it was an assassination attempt with a rubber knife. And Austin crushed it before the headline could breathe. Austin's real message? Say my name again, and you better bring more than a story. Bring a lawyer. And Johnson? He faded out of the business the same way he tried to re-enter it. Loud, messy, and with nobody following. Here's the deal. Hulk Hogan and Steve Austin were supposed to throw down at WrestleMania 18. That match could have been the WrestleMania main event of a lifetime, or just 2 guys squaring off for ego points and bad contract negotiations. Spoiler alert, it was the latter. Austin didn't just think Hogan was past his prime. He saw him as stale beer, once legendary, now flat, warm, and full of regrets from his WCW dumpster fire years. The Rattlesnake isn't someone who'd share the ring with a has-been unless the script screamed payday or prestige. Neither condition was met. Both men refused to put the other over. Hogan wanted to keep his aura untouchable. Austin wasn't about to be the guy who helped revive a faded star by losing to him. The result? A giant shrug, a missed opportunity, and one less classic on WWE's highlight reels. Backstage, the tension was so thick you could cut it with a dull knife, and neither side bothered to hide it. Austin reportedly dismissed Hogan as a relic who should have retired years ago, while Hogan treated Austin like a cocky upstart with no respect for legacy. Austin's verdict? Hogan was like leftover barbecue. He looked good from afar, but once you bit in, it was all dry and disappointing. So yeah, that WrestleMania moment got canned, leaving fans with only fantasies, and Austin's trademark middle finger instead. Steve Austin and Vince McMahon's relationship was less boss and employee, and more gunfight at high noon with beer bottles as weapons. When Austin walked out in 2002, refusing to lose to Brock Lesnar on Raw, calling it beneath him, he didn't just step away from a storyline, he flipped the entire locker room on its head. Vince, he went full nuclear, publicly called Austin a diva who was taking his ball and going home, turning the guy who made WWE into a household name into a pariah overnight. You want real backstage heat? Imagine your boss dragging you on live TV, then cutting your paycheck as a PSA. That was Vince's version of conflict resolution. Austin didn't back down either. There were penalties, $250,000 if you want numbers, and Vince threatened to bury him. But Austin held the line like a man who knew he wasn't just fighting for himself, he was fighting for respect and control in a business that chewed up stars like chewing tobacco. Eventually, they patched things up because money talks louder than grudges, but the damage was done. The backstage atmosphere was poisonous, and Austin never fully trusted Vince again. Austin's final word: Vince can own the company, but I own the legend. If you think a botched wrestling move is just a whoops, you haven't seen what Owen Hart's piledriver did to Stone Cold Steve Austin. SummerSlam 1997 turned from a main event into a near career ender. Austin's neck took a hit so brutal, it wasn't just a scare, it was a wake-up call from the wrestling gods. Owen's piledriver was supposed to be a showstopper, but it almost stopped Austin's career for good. Austin didn't just suffer physically, he felt betrayed. Owen never apologized, not once. Jim Ross, who witnessed the aftermath, revealed Austin held serious heat because Owen was too embarrassed to reach out. That silence? It cut deeper than any piledriver. For a guy who built his career on toughness, being left hanging felt like a cheap shot from a teammate. Austin's comeback was nothing short of legendary, but that injury nearly derailed the whole damn thing. He even considered quitting. The piledriver wasn't just a move gone wrong, it was a fracture in trust and respect backstage. Wrestling's biggest star was left wondering if his own colleagues cared enough to check on him. Austin's brutal verdict? Owen's piledriver hit harder than a bottle of Lone Star to the head, and just as welcome. The whole business knows how close Austin came to never being stone cold. And while Owen's move was accidental, the cold shoulder afterward, that was pure, uncut heat. Stone cold. Steve Austin's backstage grudges weren't Sunday funnies. They were the kind of bitterness that would make a kidney stone look like a vacation. From nearly career-ending injuries to public accusations and power struggles with the boss, each beef tore at the fabric of what made the business tick. This wasn't fake heat for ratings. This was personal, ugly, and sometimes unforgivable. Austin's real-life venom kept him on top, but it also left a trail of bruised egos and fractured friendships that still echo in the locker room. The Rattlesnake didn't just break rules, he broke people. If you enjoyed peeling back the curtain on the nastiest, most brutal backstage battles, smash that like button like Austin's smashed glass ceilings. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to catch every brutal truth and backstage war we uncover. No scripts, no sugarcoating, just raw wrestling reality. Got someone in mind who deserves the cold shoulder treatment next? Drop their name below and we'll see if they've got what it takes to survive the heat. Remember, in this business, loyalty is fake, egos are real, and Stone Cold's hatreds are legendary. Don't blink, or you might miss the next explosion. Thanks for watching.